Okay, when you're just starting out, it can be really difficult to get clients in the door. But when I was starting my agency about 6 months in, something flipped where I was able to go from 2 to 3 sales calls per week to about 10 sales calls per day. But not just a ton of sales calls coming in the door, but also people actually wanting to work with me. So instead of me just reaching out, trying to convince people to pay me, it was me reaching out to people that have no clue who I am. And a couple days later, they really, really want to work with me, right? So how do I go from no one knows who I am to people wanting to work with me in 10 sales calls per day? I'm going to show you my exact process for doing that. I'm going to try to go really, really in depth in this video so that hopefully I cover everything. I'm just going to try to give you as much value as I can. And it still works to this day. I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years just using this process, and I'm still getting 10, this is my past week, 10, 20 calls a day, honestly, consistently. It's kind of annoying, really busy, but obviously it gets me a ton of clients. So I'm just going to show you exactly how I do it. Now, again, I'm going to go in depth. It's going to be pretty long. Just stay with me. The first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of the mindset behind this. So when I was starting out, I remember maybe 6 months into me actually using this process, I remember someone reaching out to me and saying, hey, Carson, how do you do blah, 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 blah. We were talking back and forth. And I was giving them some advice. Hey, you should do this and this and this. And they said, well, I can't do that. I'm not Carson Fox. And I was thinking, well, that's interesting. You look at me as if I'm some sort of expert, right? As if I am the guru, as if I've been doing this for so long. And yet I wasn't Carson Fox 6 months ago. That's what I was thinking to my head, is I wasn't even where I was 6 months ago. So how did I go from, I have no clue what I'm doing, I'm not getting any clients, or it's hard for me to get clients, to people reaching out to me, wanting advice from me, saying, I want to be just like you. And it was never really my goal to be some sort of guru or expert, but it's kind of how I fell into things. And using this process, again, it usually helps me close $3,000 to $5,000 deals a day. And this is the same process I used when I first started. You can watch my videos and go back. I have videos when I first started in the first couple months of me not being able to get anything. And then all of a sudden, boom, I was getting 10 sales calls per day. And then using these strategies, I'm going to explain the exact strategies to actually get the clients. I know I keep talking around it. All right, let's get into the mindset. Okay, so the whole thing is just positioning yourself as the expert and as the wizard, even if you don't even know what you're doing. So I'm going to explain. So when I was first getting started, I would just make videos on how-to or reviews or just answering questions. I would just talk about the step behind me, right? So I had learned about something yesterday, and then someone I see in a Facebook group asking about that thing, and I'd be like, hey, yeah, I actually tried that yesterday, and this is what I got out of it, right? So just giving a little advice of the step behind me. Really, I learned something and I showed somebody else what I learned. Now, I wasn't trying to position myself as an expert or even trying to get any clients at that point with the people I was reaching out to or the people that were asking these questions. And I didn't really feel like an expert at that time either. But I saw a whole bunch of experts and I saw what they were doing. And I looked up to them as if, okay, this guy has all the answers. This guy knows exactly what to do. If I could just learn from them, I could get all the answers too, and I could be successful. And I would also say to myself, how can I compete with someone that's been in the industry for 10 years, that's been doing this for so long, and they already have hundreds of thousands of followers. There was a guy when I was first starting who was a little more popular than he is now. His name's Alex Berman, and he had 80, 90,000 subscribers. I was like, well, if I'm trying to sell cold outreach, if I'm trying to sell appointment setting to other businesses, that's my marketing agency, how do I compete with this guy who already has a huge audience? And so thinking this way got me a couple clients, but I wasn't getting a ton of clients in the door. And I was, again, looking up to these influencers, trying to see what they were doing to actually get the results they were getting. I was just saying, hey, if I could just follow them, just do what they're doing, and I could just work with them, then I could get all the answers, right? And then it come to find out, a lot of these influencers actually wanted to work directly with me too. So I was, in these Facebook groups, mostly on Facebook, not as much on YouTube or anything else. And I don't know why I was on Facebook, I was just in these groups. And the people that own these groups, they were the experts in the group, right? So people would look up to them. Thousands of people would be like, hey, asking them specific questions, trying to get them to help them, right? And me, just being really small, I have no clue what I'm doing, looking up to them, I would just try to provide value too. I wasn't trying to sell anything again, but someone would say, hey, what's the best tool for this? Or how do I do this? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I've tried that, and I would do this, right? Just giving small advice. And then, again, some of these influencers wanted to work directly with me. The reason is I was good at making videos. So someone would say, how do I do this? And I would make a video, because I had a professional camera, had a videography background. So I'd make a video, I'd say, hey, this is what I used. Again, I don't sell anything, but here's what I would do if I were you, right? Again, not really trying to position myself as the expert, just trying to give advice to other people. And the other gurus kind of saw that. The other experts kind of saw that. So these influencers, they wanted to partner with me. They said, hey, well, if you do some of the work for us, you do this stuff, and we'll give you a rev share. And so I started doing a lot of work for a lot of these different influencers, and almost no one ever actually paid me anything. Do not do a partnership. The only reason people want to do partnerships is because you have something that they do not have, and they really don't want to pay you up front, right? That's why partnerships exist. Now, sometimes sometimes that can be a good thing where, I'm creating partnerships with people, and because they have an asset that I don't have, or I have an asset that they don't have. But if it's just like, hey, do all the work and then I'll pay you, that usually doesn't work out. One guy in particular I really looked up to, and he wanted me to fly out to him to work on specific projects. He was working on this really big campaign. It was gonna be really cool. Come, fly, and we'll fly away, right? All right, so I go to the airport, I show up, and I'm like, hey, I'm here, right? I'm outside. And he pulls up, and the oldest, rustiest truck I've ever seen in my life. Not that there's anything wrong with driving an old, rusty truck, but I'm like, okay, well, this guy lives the high life. This guy's the expert. If I can just get answers from him, I'll get the keys to success, and I'll be able to be exactly like him, right? Oldest, dirtiest truck in the world. And it was not that it was like just an old truck. It was that there was just like Wendy's, on the Wendy's fries in between the seats, stuff like that. And you're like, dude, what the heck is this? Like, you're gonna pull up and like, oh, we were gonna pull up in a Maserati, but this has to do. And so that was really his car, this old rusty truck. Again, nothing wrong with that. I was like, okay, maybe we'll just go back to your crib, and we'll start working on some stuff. We go back to his crib. It's his parents' basement. He's living in his parents' basement, and everyone online is looking up to this guy as this guy is the expert. This guy knows exactly what he's talking about. He was maybe making $15,000 a month, which isn't bad, but he had like 23 VAs that he hired and maybe making $3,000 per month profit, and that wasn't even consistent. Some months he was negative, and so $3,000 a month profit. Basically, he has a glorified job and living in his parents' basement. And thousands of people looked up to him as if he is the expert. From there, he never really paid me for some of the work that I did. We had some disagreements. So I said, let's just split ways. I don't really want to partner with people like this anymore. And, after that experience, I was like, well, if these people don't really want to work with me, then who really would want to work with me? If this expert, says that I wasn't good enough or I wasn't qualified, he didn't appoint me, then who would? So I was always kind of looking for some sort of permission, someone to appoint me, someone to qualify me, someone to kind of tell you that you're good enough to actually get the clients or whatever, that you're good enough to actually run this business. And no one ever did that, right? And so I kind of just stopped the whole business overall because I was like, well, if these guys don't think I'm good enough, then who would, right? So I stopped everything. I stopped taking on clients. For like 3 or 4 months, I just don't do anything. I'd actually do DoorDash. I go back to doing DoorDash to try to get by. And then a couple months into it, I was like, I'm just thinking one day, and I was like, you know what? I was actually better than this guy. I was better than him at almost everything other than hiring VAs. He helped me hire my first VA, but everything else I was better at. So I was better at writing the copy, right? I was better at making videos. And that's really why they wanted to work with me, is because I was better at almost everything. And so that's why, let's partner with you because you can actually get results and we can't. And so people perceive me as the expert, but if you just make the videos and you are better on camera, you are better at creating the copy, you're actually better at fulfilling for the clients, And so I was better at everything other than hiring virtual assistants, which is not that hard to learn. Set myself up as if I was the expert, right? Now at this point, I don't really see myself as the expert still. I still don't think that I'm really good enough. But if I am slightly better than this guy, then I probably could help someone at least. And when I started doing that, I started just making videos. I started posting more on Facebook. I started just making content saying, hey, here's some advice. Here's a review of this tool. Here's just random stuff like that, right? Just positioning myself as, let me help you. Let me give you some advice. Let me answer your questions, right? And once I started doing that, a lot of people start coming to you because I'm answering this specific question and they have, oh, what about this question, this question, this question? And then you answer those questions and you say, hey, if you want to work with me long term, I can answer all these questions for you and we can work together. And that's when people started to, one, just come to me without even me having to do outreach. So they would start coming to me. And then two, even when I did outreach, people would still come to me from the outreach because, if I was reaching out on Facebook, which worked really well for me, I had posts on Facebook of me, just giving advice. And so people would literally say this, they would read my message and then they wouldn't respond. And then they looked at my profile and they saw like all this advice and I was giving away free stuff, all this jazz. And then they would respond back to my message saying, hey, I wasn't going to respond. I thought, you're just another one of those dudes, but I looked at your page and I saw that you were actually providing real value. So yeah, what's up? Maybe we can work together. And so that actually worked for me where I go from just doing cold outreach, no one knows who I am, and just providing value on my page so that if they just clicked on my profile or if they just looked me up a little bit, they would see some sort of value. And the value wasn't that really hard. And I'll show you exactly how to set this up for yourself. But the value was just how to scrape leads, right? Just simple how-to questions. Or if someone asks something specific, how do I set up an email campaign? How do I get clients in the door? I would just make a video, something like exactly like this, how to actually get clients in the door. The whole goal is that you set yourself up as the expert. So the thing is, you might feel like an imposter, like you can't do this because maybe you don't want to make videos, or maybe you don't want to post content, or no one even knows who you are, so you don't feel qualified. The thing is that as soon as you can just get past that hurdle of I'm not good enough, or not like in that weird way, or like the little engine that could, maybe I can do it, maybe I can, not like that, okay? I'm not talking like, it's just like having that in your head where I don't really know if I can answer that question for you, I remember I worked at Best Buy, this is a random example. I worked at Best Buy, and I was really good at cameras. And so people would come in looking for a camera, and I knew every single stat and almost all of them, right? And so whenever they needed something about cameras, and I was in some other department, or I was on my lunch break, someone would call me up, hey Carson, can you help out because this person really needs a camera? And so, I was the best at that. But when someone came in and they were looking for car stereos, I had no clue about anything about car stereos and how they worked, which cars could use what stereo. I had no clue. And so someone would come in and be like, which car stereo, whatever. I'd be like, dude, I don't really know. And they would say, okay, well, get me someone who does know, right? That was always their answer. Get me someone who does. And so everybody just wants someone who has the answers. And so we just have to act like we have the answers, even if we're just making a guess or an educated guess, not just like, I have no clue. Obviously, if you have no clue, you can just say I have no clue, right? But if someone asks something specific and you don't really know, you can say, well, based on past experiences, I think we can do blah, 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 blah. And if you just go in with certainty or answer questions with certainty, position yourself as the complete authority. I have the answers to your questions. I can relieve all the hesitations you have in your head, right? So if you came to me and you said, hey, Carson, I'm trying to sell websites. How do I do that? And I said, I don't really, if I did like that, you're like, oh, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But if I said, I've done this 10 times with 10 other web design agencies, and what works really well is, and then I go on like that, right? So if I say, hey, with these 10 other agencies, we were able to get 5 to 10 booked sales calls per day, and we're able to sell websites every single day using this strategy. Here's the strategy. Going in with certainty and with confidence. I'll give you another example. When I was first starting, again, for the first couple months, I had no clue if I was going to make it, whatever. I know I was getting 3 to 5 sales calls a week, barely even that, right? And then I went from that to 10 sales calls per day. And when I did that, at this point, I would just, before I had calls that day, I would just watch a video. I was targeting solar companies at the time. And I would just look up how to run Facebook ads for solar companies. I had no clue. I'd never even worked with a solar company. I didn't even know what KWS meant, which is like kilowatt hours, like how big your solar system is. I didn't know how long it took. I didn't even know what the pricing was. I really didn't know anything about solar. And so right before the calls, I would just watch a 10-minute video, how to do Facebook ads for solar companies. And I remember one guy specifically, I don't even know who it was or what the video was. I just remember someone saying, what you want to do with solar ads is you want to make a solar meme or just memes in general, because no one has ever scrolled on Facebook and not read a meme, right? I thought that was actually really genius. It's like, I've never scrolled through Facebook, and then when I see a meme, I always stop to read it, and then I keep scrolling, right? And so the idea was they're going to stop to read the meme, then they're going to read the copy on what the Facebook post is about, the sponsored post is about, and then they're going to click to book a call or do whatever, right? Consultation, all that jazz. So I was like, this is genius. Now I know everything about Facebook ads for solar companies. So I would go on these sales calls and I'd be like, what works really well? Memes. And I just mocked up 4 memes before I did the calls. And so I would just show them examples. Here's 4 memes I created. Boom, 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 boom. These can work extremely well. And no one's doing this. No one has a strategy. So we can get our ad costs down so much lower. We can get double the amount of appointments coming in, whatever, right? And every single person I talked to, and it gives me chills to this day, because they were all like, man, you know what you're talking about. I have talked to dozens of agencies, dozens of marketing experts, and no one has gave me a strategy as good as this one. This is crazy, right? This is 10 minutes after I had watched a 10-minute video of how to run ads for solar, right? I literally just sold the step behind me, right? I spent a little more time on it than they did, and I just sold it the step right behind me, right? And all the other agencies, a lot of them were just like me. They had no clue what they were doing, and they're just trying to sell Facebook ads to people, and they just chose solar because everybody else is doing solar. So I just did slightly more research on it, and then I just sold that step. Now, mind you, I am 19 years old at the time. I'm not living in a big fancy apartment. I was living with my mom in Fresno, California at the time, and I was literally taking the calls from like a bed, or I was like leaning over the bed taking the call, and yeah, it was funny. And even at the time, I had acne. I still had braces. I was like 19 years old, and so I was closing these $2,500 per month deals, and people said, man, you're the expert. You know what you're doing. How old are you? Oh, you're 19. You're going somewhere in life, kid. You know, you know. And so it was great. And even if you don't know how to fulfill for clients, even if you don't know what results you can actually get for them, you just go in with confidence. Hey, I know I can get you this result. And if you do that, and what I do is I'll take on a client, even if I don't really know, I've tested a campaign here, I've tested this campaign. I think if we implement those strategies, that will work for you, right? That's what we'll say. And then on the calls, or I'll start setting up campaigns. And when I start setting up campaigns and nothing's working, I'll just throw everything at the campaign. I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try that. And if nothing works, you just refund their money, right? There's no harm in like just trying to work with them, trying to help them, genuinely trying to help them. And if it doesn't work, just refunding their money. And sometimes I'll just give them a little extra. I'll say, hey, look, because of that, I'll just send you a gift card because I know, we wasted some time here. I'm really sorry about that. And I always, even in the beginning and even up until now, I will always get a client. I will help them get great results. And then 6 months later, I'll be like, man, I really feel bad for that client. Just because I've learned a lot over the last 6 months. And so, from now, from 6 months ago, from today, I feel really bad for the clients that I had 6 months ago because I just know so much more now. And then 6 months ago, I felt bad for the clients I had 6 months before that and 6 months before that, right? And so I just learned so much in a short time where, just testing different campaigns, and to where I feel like even more of an expert now, but I was like, man, I was ignorant 6 months ago. I really didn't know what I was talking about back then. And so, but it's a double-edged sword because you kind of have to go in with confidence to even get the client in the first place. And then when you get the client, you learn and you experience new things, which makes you actually better at your job, which makes you have more confidence in the next client you get, which gets you more clients, right? Okay, now I rambled on a lot about how the mindset behind this and whatever, and a lot of stories, but I want to actually show you how to actually implement this. No more fluff anymore, just getting into the actual strategy. So if you're just starting out, literally if you're just starting, you have no clue what you're doing, like you don't even have a business model or anything like that yet, the best thing to do, I created 2 videos. One video is my last video. It's just exactly what I would do if I was starting over from zero. I would just watch that video first, okay? And then there's another video I made called How to Find a Profitable SMMA Niche. So if you don't have a niche or anything like that, you can watch that video as well. I am going into this video with the assumption that you maybe have a niche, you maybe had 1 or 2 clients, or you maybe had some free trial clients or someone that you worked with, and you're just trying to scale that up now, and you're trying to figure out how to actually get more clients with this offer, okay? So that's the assumption is you're there in that position, and we're just trying to get a ton more clients. So the system is we just need to set ourselves up as an authority before we even start really doing cold outreach or continue to do cold outreach. Now, I still recommend usually for any client, I will start doing cold outreach first, get people responding, get people interested, and if we can get a sale, then from there, obviously, we move on, right? And we do this process after that. Now, again, the assumption is that maybe you have a client or 2, or maybe you're going to stick to this thing, and the goal is to set this up once you have that solid in place. So the system is why people respond to me way more than they respond to you. What I realized when doing outreach is that people usually actually do look you up, and they will kind of just research you before. Nobody wants to get scammed, right? And so when you reach out to someone on Instagram, they're going to click on your Instagram profile just to see, right? If you're reaching out to someone on Facebook, they're going to click on your Facebook profile. If you're reaching out to someone on email, they're going to look up your name on Google, okay? So we don't have to do some crazy PR stunts, right? But we just have to position ourselves that if they do that, at least there is the bare minimum there to where they see that we're actually legit and we're not just some scam reaching out to them. They can't find us on Google. Our name doesn't pop up. Or not even that. We don't have to go as far as making sure, because if you look me up on Google, it's not like there's not some sidebar with a Wikipedia page. It's not like that. Maybe there is. I haven't checked. If you look me up, it's just my YouTube page, right? And so watching a couple of YouTube videos of mine, right? Or if I reach out on Facebook, they just look at my Facebook profile and they look at the value that's there. Just like I said, where people would reach out to me and they would say, hey, I wasn't going to respond, but when I saw your profile, then it made me want to respond. So we just need to have a little bit of content there to have expert authority positioning. Now, there is a rule that you can go by, a little rule of thumb. It's Google's 7-11-4 rule. This is some research that Google did, and they created this framework. 7-11-4 is the process that most people go through before they actually make any sort of purchase. And so, so the 7-11-4 is 7 hours of content, or consuming 7 hours of you or your brand, 11 different touch points, and then 4 different locations. So I'll explain. 7 hours of content obviously can be 7 hours of videos, 7 hours of shorts, or even just if I'm going back and forth with you on Messenger, right? And that can be counted towards the time. Or if we're on a call for an hour, right? Or 2 half-an-hour calls. Now that is an hour of time, right? Counted towards that 7 hours. So 7 hours of really thinking about you before they actually make a decision. 11 different touch points. This can be if I reach out to someone with a cold message, that's one touch point. And if they respond and they say, yeah, maybe I'm interested, and then I respond back, that's 2 touch points, right? So most of my calls, I get a lot higher quality calls through Facebook. And I close mostly all the calls I get through Facebook because I usually go back and forth with them for like at least 15 different messages. And I go, hey, what are you doing right now? Oh, we're doing this. Okay, is there a reason that you're doing that? Oh, it just doesn't really work for us. Oh, yeah, if I were you, I would do this, right? And we're just having a conversation back and forth on Facebook. And so they've gotten 11, 12, 13, 15 touch points from me going back and forth on Facebook. So by the time the call happens, we spend another hour together, it's pretty easy to close because we've already had those 11 touch points. And then 4 different locations. This can mean a lot of different things. It can mean 4 different locations on one platform or 4 different platforms. For example, let's say 4 different platforms. I text them on Facebook, right? And then we book a call. I send them a text reminder and an email reminder. Now that's 3 different platforms, right? And then we actually have the call. That is 4 different platforms, all right? So me on a call with them is another platform where we engage with each other. We can also do this just on Instagram. On Instagram, we have our Instagram posts, we have our Instagram stories, our Instagram reels, and we have DMs. And we can also maybe even call on Instagram, right? So that can be 5 different touch points just on one platform. Now, I think this is a little above average. You don't really have to have 7 hours of content before people actually start buying from you, obviously. But I think at least an hour or 4 hours is what I would try to aim for at first. And then once you get to like an hour's worth of content, it'll be a lot easier to close deals, and I can guarantee that, okay? Now, how do we actually create content? What content do we actually create? How do we know if they actually even want to see this content? All that jazz. I'm going to explain all that right now. It's literally as easy as copying another guru. And I've said this before, but I'm going to explain how we would do this here. Let's just say I am targeting videographers and video production companies. I want to help videographers get more commercial jobs, right? And let me do some research first on what do videographers actually want? What are they watching? What are they liking? So we just do a little simple market research, and a simple way of doing this is I would just go on YouTube and search how to get videography clients, right? I just did this, and one of the most popular YouTubers is this guy right here. And you see a lot of this guy's top videos are, if I was starting a video production company, this is what I would do, right? So all I have to do is just recreate that in my own way. Just make that same piece of content myself. And we would just do this with like 3 different videos. Again, we don't have to copy them directly. Just do it your own way, or you don't have to take those ideas. But we can see that the audience is actively looking for that specific video. We know that because he created hundreds of videos, and these are the ones that rose to the top. And it might seem wrong to copy somebody else, but literally everybody copies somebody. Mr. Beast copies. If you look at a lot of the big YouTubers, this is some really inside sauce here, and I've spent $40,000 on YouTube growth and all that jazz. But a lot of the big ones, all they do is they just copy television, right? There was one guy that actually gave good advice. He likes a lot of TV shows have A plot, B plot, like 2 different plots in one show. Like The Office will have 2 different things going on at the same time. And so he does that in his YouTube videos, right? And a lot of big YouTubers, what they do is they just look up a big video, or a big TV show that was maybe popular at one point in time, and then they just kind of recreate it. So Mr. Beast recently did a video of like an obstacle course, and it's just Wipeout. It's literally just Wipeout, and just with more money and one person, right? And so just like recreating what already worked before. Airac does videos of like trapping so many people in a box, and it's literally just Big Brother, but turned it into a video series, right, on YouTube. So we just copy someone else. Another popular video of his is how to make $10,000 a month as a video production company. Literally as easy as recreating that. Again, how to get new clients with a video production company. We can steal that one too. And that's 3 ideas right there. I would do 3 ideas, and then 1 video I probably would do a testimonial, or like talking with a client, a case study, and just so that people can actually see that you're getting results for someone specific. If you do not have any case studies, you don't have any specific clients that you can get a testimonial from, that's okay too. All you have to do is just do another one of these videos, right? Just create 4 videos of recreating his content or somebody else, right? So I would probably just look at 2 or 3 different YouTubers, what is their most popular videos, and then recreate those. Now, once you do that, the content strategy long-term is actually pretty easy. So we'll recreate these guys, right, the people that are directly in our audience, and then you just take ideas from other industries, right? So I was looking at people that have videos on how to start a cleaning business, and I just try to look at what is their most popular video on how to start a cleaning business. And their most popular video is your first year as a cleaning business, right? So I was like, well, what if I created a video on your first year as a marketing agency? And so then you can take ideas from other industries and apply it to your industry, and merging those 2 things together usually turns into really big results. My biggest video right now is I spent 1,000 days trying SMMA. I took that idea from a Minecraft YouTuber. So now I recommend you making videos videos. You don't have to. You don't have to have professional equipment. Like, I already had a fancy camera. I already worked at Best Buy and got all this stuff at a discount. Like this microphone I just bought like 6 years ago, at a discount working at Best Buy. So I haven't even upgraded literally anything since then. And again, I just was kind of set up. I was a little more lucky just because, again, I already was into videography. And so it was easier for me to make videos. But the guy I was doing the work with, the guy I went to to fly to him, and I did some projects with him, he just had like 4 or 5 videos on YouTube, and they were all like 15 minutes long. And it was just a screen recording of him just talking for 10 minutes. It wasn't even like, I don't even think he was showing his face. He didn't even want to show his face. It was just a screen recording of the screen, him just explaining something, and that was it. And people, again, thousands of people looked up to this guy from these like 4 screen recording videos in a Facebook group. And the way that we recreate this is literally just like a school paper. When they say you can't plagiarize, you can't reuse like someone else's words, right? And you can't use ChatGPT. I guess we could use ChatGPT because it doesn't really matter in the real world. But if all I would do is I would watch like maybe 2 or 3 videos of that same exact topic, how to start a video production company in 2025, right? And just like watch all those and then just create it in your own way. Obviously, you have your own take on things. Also, a really good idea is just take whatever their consensus is, which is the average between those videos, and just say the opposite. But you always want to obviously say something that you truly believe in. For example, me, a lot of people say, do cold email. I am the cold email expert, and you should do cold email for this reason. Or I'm the LinkedIn expert, and you should do LinkedIn for this reason. I have no slight, or I have nothing against the cold email wizard, or there's the LinkedIn king, LinkedIn legend, whatever. Those guys are great, and I love them. But the only thing is that from my testing, LinkedIn is not the highest converting platform, and cold email is not the highest converting platform. There are way better platforms, way better strategies to get more clients than LinkedIn and email combined, right? And so what I will say is I'll say, how to start cold email in 2025, right? And then I would say, hey, you can do cold email, but if I were you, I would do something the exact opposite. So now I have a unique position versus everyone else. So if they're saying, the way you want to get clients for a video production company is you want to go to bark.com or you want to go to Home Advisor and post your stuff on there. And I say, you don't want to pay for that. All you got to do is just make a free video for someone in a local area and ask them to get 5 friends to promote it. Just say something that is slightly different than what everybody else is saying. Now, all I do is I literally write this out on a Google Doc. Like I'm literally reading off this script right now. I write the entire thing out on a Google Doc, and I'll take like a thumbnail, and I'll take someone that has something similar, and again, I just take other people's ideas and I use it myself, right? So this guy, how to start affiliate marketing for beginners. So I just, how do I kind of recreate that title? Again, this is someone in a different industry, and I'm copying them because I've done videos of people, that are in my industry. They're not as creative, and I've already kind of done all the videos that they've done and copied all their most successful videos, and other people have copied my videos, which is okay. But obviously I have to go outside of my industry to get more ideas. So how to start affiliate marketing business, again, has nothing to do with what I'm doing, but maybe can target the same audience, maybe can work the same way. And so how to get flooded with clients as a complete beginner, kind of what I came up with, and then I write it out as a document, right? And so the reason I'm doing this is just because we want to write it out a couple different ways. I'm going to show you what I mean. Now, once you've created those videos and you uploaded them, you don't have to do any sort of special SEO tricks or anything like that. You don't have to do the vidIQ thing where you have to make sure that the keyword match none of that crap matters. Or having tags on the video, that doesn't matter either. All you got to do is make a thumbnail similar to their thumbnail. If you look at the thumbnail of this video right here, as you saw, that other guy's thumbnail is very simple, very clean, very easy. I make my thumbnails in like 5 minutes, very simple, very clean, very easy, and obviously it worked for him. That video had 101 times more views than all of his other videos, all the average of the other videos. And so again, we just copy what works. We can use the exact same title that they're using. We can use a very similar thumbnail to what they're using, and if it worked for them, it'll probably work for us too. And then when I'm done with a script, I will just rewrite it as a social media post. So that's why I write it out step by step, just so I can rewrite it again with a social media post. Now, the way I post on social media is slightly different than kind of how a lot of people do it, but we can take that one piece of content and we can turn it into 4 pieces of content by doing the YouTube video and then doing it on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Instagram, right? So now we have 4 pieces of content. So rather than just being 15 minutes of content, now it's an hour of content from one piece of content, right? So now that we have an hour of content, we do that across 4 different videos. Now that's 4 hours of content total across 4 different platforms, and we have now 12 pieces of content just from the 4. For example, one of my most popular videos is how to scrape thousands of phone numbers and emails for free or something like that, right? And so I put out a post, how to scrape thousands of phone numbers for free. And then I just show the different strategies. Now, the way I do it here, I'm going to try to zoom in, but I just try to space out every single line because people, when it's all jumbled up into like one, if I look at this, it's a little harder to read, right? Now, I still kind of space it out, but it's when sentences are longer or when there's like a long paragraph, people don't really want to read it out as much. And so I space it out so that it's just easier on the eyes. Even if it's like the same length and it's like really, really long because we keep spacing it out like that, now people will actually read the whole thing because it's just easier, because I'm terrible at reading. And so if I say roofing and Gmail, and you'll be able to blah, 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 right? And it's just so much easier, controllable. It's so much easier for me to read this way, right? That's what I do. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I do. And I just give a real value. I just basically say the exact same thing as I said in the video, and I literally just use the same thumbnail that I use in the video as a photo. Now, for any social media post, we always want to try to attach a photo, unless it's just like sometimes I'll post on Twitter, and I'm not trying to get likes or a whole bunch of views or anything like that, and so we don't have to use a photo. But every single popular post always has a photo or a video attached to it. Like that is the medium, and it doesn't matter. If I go to homepage right now, if there's something that is literally just a post, you'll easily scroll past it because you don't even recognize it, right? Every single one, right? So you have to think about that ahead of time. So we try to just add a good photo or emails, every single one of them, right? There's not even one. Here's another example. Now this is like expert positioning, because obviously I'm sitting with Ty Lopez. You don't have to go sit with Ty Lopez or ChatGPT or AI yourself into the same photo. But I made a video to my 21-minute routine that makes me so much money per day. And then I just laid out exactly what I laid out in the video. A very long post here, but I just, again, space it out so the same way, remove all the fluff, and I post it basically the exact same value, right? And so there's people that are on Facebook that aren't going to be on my YouTube channel for some reason, even though I feel like it's just much easier to consume the YouTube video, but 58 people read this and they don't read watch the YouTube video. We can try to squeeze the most out of the content we're creating. If it's, if the people are 30 and over, they're probably going to be more on Facebook. If they are younger, they're probably going to be more on Instagram. If they're more B2B, they're probably going to be on LinkedIn. And if you reach out on any platform like on email or on SMS or something else, or like cold call, they're just going to look up your name directly, which means it'll probably just show up, the YouTube on the Google search. And so that's why I would do all 4 of those channels. You can also do Twitter. People, I don't think really there's a lot of B2B that happens on Twitter, but it's just not as popular as you might think. I do know people that make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month just from Twitter, so I'm not knocking it in any way, just not. And I mean, even my first week on Twitter, I made like $7,000. So it's, again, it still works, but I probably would be not my first priority. That's what I would say. So again, since we've done this 15-minute pieces of content on 4 different platforms, we now have 4 hours of content total, and we don't really have to get to that 7-hour mark, because again, we can do a call with them directly. We can DM them back and forth. All that counts towards the time, towards that 7-hour goal. And for me, I have a lot of clients that they said they watched every single one of my videos. Or I had a guy that just paid me recently, and he said, I watched your most recent 40 videos. I'm like, okay, well, good for you. But not that you have to do that, but it does help. The more time they spend with you, trust me, dude. And we don't have to make these videos complicated. I'm just sitting here for the last 45 minutes and 50 seconds just talking to my camera, and very minimal editing, very minimal all that stuff. And these videos, even though I have videos that have a really good editing and a lot of views, these videos make me a ton more money. I have a video that's 5 hours long, me just sitting and doing my job for 5 hours straight. That video gets me way more clients than most of my other videos that have a ton of editing, and I've thought a lot about. I try to really have a really good title, really good thumbnail, and they produced 0 clients. And there's one video where I just sit there and do my job for 5 hours. I get a ton of clients from that video. Or I have another video that's like an hour and a half long where I go over every single niche I've ever done. And I just give all the value, like, hey, I've tried this niche, and this is what I learned from that niche, and I tried that niche. And an hour and a half, me just sitting there talking for an hour and a half, no cuts or anything. And that video brought me so many clients just because it's not really about the video or thumbnail, but how much value can you provide? Obviously the thumbnail, obviously people have to click, but what's the value that you can provide, 1, and can you answer my questions, right? That's why we're doing this expert positioning. And then 2, if I just watch that one 5-hour video, you're basically already converted, right? You're already going to pay me if you sat till the end. Versus, and this is why I don't do short form, versus doing all the short form content. If you make 30-second videos and people have to watch, let's say we want to make 4 hours of content in short form, right? That is 480 shorts that are 30 seconds long, 480 of them, dude. And so someone has to go through, let's just say we're focusing more on short form. That's why I don't like short form content agencies as much anymore. People really try to hype it up in the beginning, but I've gotten millions and millions of views from shorts and I made $0. And so with the short form, someone has to sit there and watch every single video 480 times of you before they actually buy something, versus me just sitting doing my job for 5 hours and making $40,000 from one video. Even though it's the same amount of content, right? It does take a lot more effort to do this short form stuff. As much as it seems like it's easier, it's not. Again, the whole goal really is just people really don't want to get scammed, and they want to actually know that you know what you're talking about. And so if you're reaching out to me on Facebook or on Instagram and I look at your profile and you have 2 photos of you from 2018, right, from 6 years ago, 7 years ago now, what the heck, then why would you expect me to respond? Versus, the people that I actually respond to, I had a guy reach out and he had 400,000 followers and he was verified, right? And he was like asking, hey, I can help you edit your YouTube videos. I'm like, that's one that I might respond to versus all the other people who don't really have any followers. And that is not hard. It is super easy to fabricate this stuff. It is super easy to look like an expert, right? Have you ever seen those videos where this guy, he will go at a party and he'll act like he's live streaming, and the live stream has like 13,000 viewers, and people are like commenting, and he just created this fake software that made it look like he was live streaming and look like people that were really happy or they were really excited or whatever, and all the girls are coming up to them. Kind of the same thing we can do on all these different platforms. I made 2 videos. One is I paid for 1 million followers, and then is verification worth it? And the video of is verification worth it? I had 300,000 followers I paid for, plus I bought verification. And now I look exactly like the guy that reached out to me with 400,000 followers. And I have like 4 photos that kind of look more professional. I bought likes on those photos, very cheap to do. And I got I think almost double the response rate by having these things. So having more followers and having verification and having just a couple clean photos, double the response rate. And all of it was fabricated. It wasn't real followers, wasn't real likes. And obviously that's not like a long-term way to build a brand. But if we're just trying to get clients in the door today, it wouldn't really hurt to look like that. And a lot of times people that have these real followers, that have real brands, they just spend a lot more money trying to get real followers. It's not even that they're providing more value than you are. They just spent way more money on building the brand. Now, once you're actually doing cold outreach, I have plenty of videos on my YouTube channel on the different cold outreach strategies I use. I'm not gonna go too in-depth into that. Or I've got a free course in the description below of a whole bunch of different cold outreach strategies that you can use to get appointments in the door. For example, I'm currently using my Upwork method that I have. I posted a video and it's in my free course of how I get clients on Upwork. And that on Upwork, I'm just saying, hey, I'm the best, I'm the expert at this. I will help you for free if you're interested. And here's my YouTube channel. I'm a professional, right? I know what I'm doing. And then a lot of people will respond to that Upwork that post or that message, and they will say, hey, I watched 10 of your videos and I'm ready to get started, right? And so they just qualify themselves. They sit there and they watch the channel just because I said, hey, I have a YouTube channel, you should check it out. Also, I can help you with blah 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 blah. So again, the expert positioning does lead to more clients in the long term. Now, there's a couple other tricks I use on top of this. So one is, obviously, now you believe me. Now you believe that I can actually help you get results because I can answer your questions, but I'm still kind of hesitant. Let's just say I'm on a call with you and you're trying to sell me video editing. I'm still a little hesitant. I don't really know if you're still going to scam me, right? Even though you could have bought fake followers. You could have made fake reviews. And the answers to your questions, I don't really know if they actually work. You're just telling me that this is how it works, right? How do I actually know you're a good video editor? Well, we can do a few things, right? So I have 2 keys that I use to actually just get someone to convert if they're on the fence. One is I try to go into the conversation as if I am your trusted advisor. Again, I am the expert. And so if I think you're making a wrong move, I want to tell you that. If you say, oh, I'm using this, people will post on Upwork, can anybody help me set up a Lemlist campaign? And I'll say, hey man, I could help you set up a Lemlist campaign, but I don't really think that's your best strategy. I really want to do that. I would probably do this instead. And just giving that, like just being real versus everybody else. Yes, I will do it for, I'm not trying to do Indian, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be racist. Let's do a Southern accent. Yeah, man, I'll do it for you. I can help you set up a Lemlist campaign, pay me so much money, right? Instead of me just, getting them to pay me and trying to just get money out of them, just giving them real advice. Hey, I probably want to do that. If I were you, I probably would use this tool or probably not even use email at all with your industry that you're targeting, So I go in with, I will try to be your trusted advisor. I'm genuinely not really trying to sell you something. I'm genuinely trying to do the best I can for you. The other one is we want to assume more risk than they are. In every transaction, there is some sort of risk involved. In a marriage, there's some sort of risk involved, right? And so how do we remove risk from them to where we're assuming more risk than they are? There's a couple ways of doing this. One is a double your money back guarantee, for example, right? So if I say, hey, pay me $2,000. If it doesn't work, I'll pay you $4,000. We have this strict policy right here where if you just do this, you do this, and you can show me that and you can guarantee that you did this, I will guarantee this, and we'll have an agreement in place. So if you just sign the agreement, right, and it says clearly, we're going to sign on this dotted line, and if you just do these things and it doesn't work for you, I will pay you double your money back. And if I don't pay you double your money back, you can get a lawyer because we signed this document, right? And so I used to do that with the solar companies. a lot of times, I wouldn't do the double your money back, but I would just, a refund policy. And they said, well, someone else gave me a refund policy, and then they just ghosted me. They never actually gave me my refund. And so, a lot of people were saying that same thing, and that was the objection. Because even if I say, hey, I will assume more risk than you are, I will give you a refund, I'll work for you, and if it doesn't work, I'll still give you the refund, right? And then they say, oh, I've heard that before, and I still got scammed, right? And so I don't want to get scammed again. So in that case, they still feel like they're assuming more risk. So then I said, well, what if we have an agreement and we both sign on the dotted line? So if something happens, you can bring up a lawyer or something like that, right? And it was so much easier to close them doing that. Like, well, oh yeah, if you're going to sign on the dotted line, yeah, for sure, I'll do it, right? And so all it takes is really just being genuine. And if I really have nothing to lose here, and if I really want to genuinely help them, and if I really was going to try to give them a refund if it didn't work for them, then of course I'll create a document and I'll send it to you. And so it made it so much easier to close people just by having a document in place. It's saying the exact same thing, but now I pay for DocuSign. Another way I do that is a lot of times I'll have my offers end in a 900. So I'll say, hey, it's $1,900, it's $2,900, something like that. And so I'll say, hey, if it doesn't work within the first 2 weeks, you're not getting any appointments, any leads coming in the door, I'll give you back all your money plus an extra $100 just for wasting your time, because at least you got some sort of ROI out of this. That works really well for me. Another one that I do is I will just again assume more risk by just doing it for them first. So I'll do a free trial. I've got a guy that he actually recognized me, and I was sitting in a restaurant, and he came up to me, "Are you Carson Fox?" That was really interesting. And he said that he was a video editor and he was trying to get more clients, and he was actually had a really good system for getting clients, which was just reaching out on Instagram. He just wasn't reaching out a ton, and that's why he didn't get a ton of clients, because he just wasn't really doing a lot. But reaching out on Instagram to bowling YouTubers selling video editing services. I don't know how he landed on that, but it was working for him. And he would just say, hey, I'll edit your first video for free, and then we'll go from there. And he was getting just a lot of good clients. Maybe he's watching this, hopefully. If you're watching, hey, what's up? A lot of good clients just by saying, I'll edit the first video for free. And so really just I'm putting more risk in, because I'll edit the video, and if it doesn't work, then I just wasted all that time editing the video for you. And so I'm assuming more risk than you are. And if you do that, if you assume more risk, people actually, they genuinely feel that. They know that, okay, well, this guy actually gave to me. Now I feel like I have to get back to him in some way. So me sitting here for the last 57 minutes and 15 seconds recording this video, I have put up all this time, all this effort just to give you some value, and hopefully you see that, and maybe you'll give me something back in return. Somehow the debt has to be paid. Everything that, if someone gives something to somebody, the debt is paid somehow, right? So if I give you value in the form of a video, giving you advice, hopefully you return the favor and either help me out in some way. Now, another way we can do this is what I do myself currently. I'm doing this strategy where I will, if someone's hesitant, they're on the fence, and I give them a guarantee, whatever, and they're still kind of hesitant, I'll show them other client results. Hey, this other guy's in your industry, he's doing the exact same thing you are, and here's the results he's getting. If they're still hesitant, I will do something like this. I'll say, I will set up a campaign for you. I'll get you appointments coming in the door, people saying that they're interested, leads coming in. If it works, would you pay me? And I say, yeah, of course it works, right? And so what I'll do, I'll set up a campaign, I'll get appointments coming in. It really takes me like 20 minutes to get people responding and people interested. I'll show them, hey, look, it's working. Hey, I've got this one responding, this one responding. And so now I can show them actual proof. Again, I'm putting up more risk. I just set up this campaign for you for free. And we have this person saying, yes, I'm interested. And look, it's your offer. They're responding to your offer right here. And look, it's your audience, right? Here's their website. Here's where they're located. Here's their company name. Look at that. And so then they see that. They say, okay, well, you actually did this. You actually showed me I got good results. And, I've paid $40,000 to some, I've actually got this last week. Some guy who was, he said he's paid 40, 50 grand trying to test all these different things and nothing worked for him. Within 20 minutes, I had a campaign up. You didn't have to pay me a dime. Don't pay me a dime. I'll set it up for you. I'll get you appointments. And then from there, if you want to take it from me and you want to steal it, no harm, no foul, I guess. But if you want to move forward and we can work together long term, we can. I got him 11 appointments in 30 minutes. It took me 20 minutes to set up the campaign, 11 people interested within 10 minutes of us actually sending out messages. And so I was like, look, man, it's working. I showed you it was working. I'm putting up the risk. I just helped you out. And would you, return the favor, and maybe we can work together long term. And then he paid me from there. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful for you. I'm really sorry to make this really long, but I want to try to give you as much value as I possibly can. If you want a system to consistently get 120 sales calls per month, I will work with you directly. And if you need help, I can, again, help you set up a campaign and get you appointments coming in the door. I can show you that it works. Usually how it works, though, is I will show you it works. I'm not going to, sometimes I give you some of the people that are interested, but the goal is just to show you it works. I'm not trying to give you a whole bunch of free appointments, and then you're like, oh, I'll pay you once I get paid first. I'm not doing that crap, okay? Because I don't know how good you are at selling all that jazz. So that's not how it works. How it usually works is I will get it working, and then if it does work, then we move and we work together long term. So there's a link in the description below, coldleads.com/partnership. If you just fill out the form, it's just a simple form, just what's your website, and then what are you doing with it, what's your offer right now, who are you targeting, a little bit, stuff like that. And you just click a date and a time, and then you book a call with me. That is directly with me. Don't book unless you're actually wanting to move forward soon. If you're saying, hey, Carson, yeah, let's talk today. Maybe we can move together 4 months from now. Like, you're just wasting my time. Let's just talk 4 months from now, you know? And then we can go from there. Cool. So if you're interested, book a call. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you soon. Cool. Yay. I got this new thing, this auto-tune thing. Oh, yeah.